Hey guys, I'm Jody.
I'm Justin.
And we have another 3-game mini review here, and these are the games we're going to be talking about. We have GEARWORKS from Peacekeeper Games, then we have Scythe from Stonemaier Games, and LUNAR Rush from Dead Alive Games, and these two were sent to us for review. This one we got for Christmas. So we're going to do kind of a brief overview on these games and talk about our thoughts, and we're going to do it for all three. So, I'm Mark. Get set, let's go. LUNAR Rush is a simultaneous play Euro-style board game. In this game, you will bid against rival companies to transport resources to and from the moon via the most efficient route possible. Build and upgrade your moon base to mine and refine Lunathis and Lunarium, and sell the finished products on Earth to maximize your profits.
So LUNAR Rush is published by Dead Alive Games, and the designer is Stephen Skippy Brown. And this is for 1 to 4 players.
Yes, and this is a space-themed game.
Go figure.
So I was very excited to try this game. So, this game is played in 7 turns.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised because it seemed to go a little bit faster than I was expecting. I was like, oh wow, this game's only 7 turns and it kind of moves along.
Especially if you're playing with lower player count.
Yes. So, there is an Earth phase, a Moon phase, and then a Market phase.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is very systematic, and I'm very thankful there are player aids for everybody because you're just going to be following the steps.
And I'm very thankful that I have a systematic person that keeps me on track.
Yes, I have to. So I'm going to use this real quick because we are going to actually just briefly touch on all of the steps, most of the steps, and go on to our thoughts. So for Earth phase, you are going to start possibly closing some routes toward the end of the game. That will block some options to go because there are fast, slow, and medium routes. Mm-hmm. And the slow routes and medium routes won't make it to...
Yeah, once you hit a certain point of the game, they will no longer make it to the
Right, yes. So, turn 6 and 7, some routes might be closed. Mm-hmm. And not might, they will be closed. Alright, and then at that point, everyone's going to bid for initiative. And this is where it's like, do you want to for sure be going first in choosing routes? Or, because if you do, it's going to cost you some more bucks.
Giga credits.
Is that, yeah, giga credits, yes. So it will be pricey, but, there's that trade-off there.
Especially as you get to the end of the game where there's this multiplier for the amount that you have to pay, or for the amount of the card that you play.
It can get very,
it can be like
double, triple,
triple, 5 times, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, so whoever has the most giga credits is the winner. So this is directly impacting your score. Yeah. Directly.
It's a problem.
So after that, then you're going to lose your money from what you bid. And then in player initiative, you get to choose your routes. And there's going to be up routes, down routes. So basically you're going from Earth to Moon, Moon to Earth. And everyone's going to be trying to get their routes that they want. And then in a 2-player version, some more routes will be unavailable to obviously make it work better for 2 players.
So once you've chosen your routes, then you're going to start to load your moonbound ships, and then you're going to move those moonbound ships, at which point you will move into the moon phase.
Now, I will say, though, I really enjoy loading up those moonbound ships, because there's just a pile of goodies in the middle of the board, and you just get to load up to your max. So there's different... So the slow routes, you can load up the most. Medium, less, and then the fast, you can only hold 2 items. And so you can just get all kinds of goodies and astronauts and load them up. And that was very exciting. Anyway, moving on to the moon phase, like you had mentioned. So first you have the option to buy gold modules in reverse turn order. And these gold modules are they're expensive, but they are very helpful. They give you lots of really nice things.
Now, then you can also go on and choose Moon Wonders if you're playing a certain expansion. So we will kind of look at that a little bit closer here in a minute.
And then we get to the meat of the game, which is build and produce. And this is the simultaneous part. Everyone is going to be doing stuff on their own moon base. And you're going to be upgrading your modules. So everyone has 6 on their board. and a couple slots on the side. And you can upgrade most of them twice. And upgrading them are going to give you better abilities, but also more points for the end of the game. And on these modules, you're going to be placing out your astronauts on all these different spots to gather more life, energy, life support, energy. You're going to be getting gems. You're going to be getting all kinds of stuff. And once everyone has finished that part, then you're going to be loading up the Earthbound ships. And you have to make sure to, of course, be able to, provide life support for your astronauts and house them. And if you're not able to, those astronauts will die. And you'll lose 25 points. So that's a big deal.
That's a lot.
And when they die, they're like out from the game.
Oh,
so that's bad. So try to avoid that.
And then moving on to the market phase, you're going to be moving those Earthbound ships, and you're going to start selling stuff that's coming from the moon for Giga credits. And so that's how you're kind of getting your points built up.
Yeah, and it's based off of this market board, and that will determine how much you will get for each gem and or ore or whatever you're selling, because the amount will vary throughout the game, because whenever you sell stuff, the price is going to go down, possibly up on some of the routes, but it's going to be adjusting. So plan ahead. And then lastly is kind of some cleanup. There might be a market refresh. If you have hit the threshold, then there might be some adjustments, like it might go back up. So you might be able to sell for a higher price later on. After the 7 turns, then you have the game end. And so you basically all the Earthbound ships that haven't made it yet, you'll do market phase cycles for all those until they are all arrived at Earth and everyone has sold everything. And you will get points for remaining items on your moon and the points from all of your modules. And whoever has the most points, or I should say Giga credits, is the winner. There are several mini expansions that come in this game. There's also solo mode, there's cooperative mode. We didn't do solo, and we didn't do the cooperative. That's not I wouldn't say the heart of the game. But some of the mini expansions are things like roll cards, which we played with the factions in particular, which give everyone a special ability throughout the game or at the start of the game. And then there's the bigger mini expansion, which is the Moon Wonders, which basically you will be drafting. What was it? Start of turn 4. I think it is 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5,
you
6,
you draft these Moon Wonder cards. You'll have 3, and there is a top and a bottom, a noun and an adjective side. And you will be choosing 1 noun part and 2 adjective parts. And at turn 6 and 7, you are able to buy them. And they are a little expensive.
They are. So you got to be planning ahead with your resources that you have left over.
Yeah, so there's a big cost to it. So if you can pay that, then you can basically... You have built the Moon Wonder, and you can score a buttload of points.
It's a lot of points at the end of the game, so it is something that, to plan for, and it really does kind of change your strategy as you near the end of the game.
Yes. So, overall thoughts, overall feeling about this game for you?
I enjoyed this game.
Did you play it at 3 players?
I don't remember. I really don't remember if I played it at 3. I know I played it at 2, and I know that I played it at 4. I liked it at both. 4 took a little bit longer, obviously. Just more players. It takes a little longer to go through the turns.
Yeah.
We played it without the mini expansions, and we played it with the mini expansions. I liked them both. It definitely changed the end of the game playing with the Moon Wonders.
Right.
I wouldn't say it changed a lot playing with the factions.
No.
Because it's just something that it's like a personal ability that you have or something like that. So it's just, you just work with it throughout the game.
I would play with factions every game. Yeah. The Moon Wonders, sometimes I might want to play with it and sometimes I may not. Because it does kind of change the game a bit, where you have to get a lot of resources to build it. Like, it's a lot. But it can also score a lot of points. So I find that when I play with that expansion, I am doing less, trying to sell less things to the market and trying to stock up on all these resources and such to be able to build those wonders. So I think sometimes if I want to change it up, I might want to play the Moon Wonders, but then I might just want to play with the base game where there's just the focus is, sending stuff to the moon and back to sell. I think
and just see how your economy of that works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very systematic game. So
and I am not a systematic
and
person.
like I mentioned earlier, they thank goodness for this player aid because it lists all the steps for the most part. It didn't list the you got to feed your people and house them and such thing, which that was a misstep, I believe. But if you don't like very procedural games, this may
or you don't have somebody that does.
Yes, because I like systematic games. I like systematic stuff. So I'm kind of like leading everyone, making sure we're following the steps. But if you don't like that, then this may not be for you because there's a lot of steps that you got to follow.
The only way I like it is if somebody can do that part for me,
which is me.
That's right.
And I like it. I feel like the production is really good. So this is the deluxe edition. I can't say for sure the differences between the retail and deluxe. I can't quite remember. I will say in the deluxe version though, there are the gold modules which are like really foiled, and I actually do not like those. I know I like the gold modules, but I don't like
the reflective surface of the foil type cards.
Very hard to read.
Make it pretty difficult to read, and,
yes.
and I don't know if it's partially the coloring of the cards as well. It's just very difficult to read them.
I found that to be problematic because I kept having to be like, tilt my head and trying to see with the lighting. Yeah, I did not like that at all. But I mean, the gold modules for the function I liked, but the rest of the production I really liked. I thought it was good. I loved having all of those different goodies in the middle of the board between the moonbound and the earthbound resources and gems, and there's just so many fun goodies and resources in there. And I found player boards to be nice, and I just thought it was a good overall production.
I like a lot of the mechanisms too. And there's like the worker placement aspect of it, where you have your astronauts that you're first trying to gather more of them if that's what you want to do, and then placing them to be able to generate more resources and things like that. Obviously, that's kind of the heart of the game, is placing those and trying to generate more so that you can then sell stuff off to get points. I like worker placement stuff, and I felt like that was really good, but there's also the ability to upgrade those places where you're putting those astronauts. So, I thought that was really cool too. I
love games that have, like, you're upgrading your personal player board, and I love that in games. Love it.
Yeah,
Which reminds me, you need to try Maracaibo. I'm just remembered that because you're doing a lot of like personal board upgrades. That and Boon Lake. Anyway, off topic here. Yeah. I really like this game a lot, and yes, there's some worker placement in there, but there's also like the bidding. You're trying to like figure out what people are going to bid for turn order and which routes you're going to get. I liked everything about this game a lot.
I did too. I thought it was really good.
I don't think I played a game to this point that feels like this. Like the actual process of shipping things and shipping things to the moon and shipping things back, and you're actually putting stuff on the ships and like moving them. I just don't think I've gotten that feeling from any other game. And I really like that a lot. Yeah. So, definitely check out Lunar Rush if this looks like one that might be interested in. Definitely check it out. That is Lunar Rush. In GEARWORKS, you play as tinkerers in a workshop fixing a mysterious clockwork machine. You play your gear cards in the machine grid, making sure you follow certain placement rules. At the end of a round, players who control one or more rows or columns in the grid claim parts of the corresponding types. If you claim the right parts, you can build contraptions from blueprints that are lying around the workshop, and at the end of the game, you score points for the contraptions you've built, your unused parts, and sparks. So we had to film this video in a couple parts, and in between those two filming sessions, we got really sick again. So, hence, there's been no video out for a couple weeks, because super, super sick.
Hence the very sudden wardrobe change in the middle of this video.
Anyway, so let's get back to reviewing these games. So next up is GEARWORKS. This is from Kirk Dennison and Peacekeeper Games. And we actually know Kirk from college.
We do.
So just an FYI. And this was sent to us to review, as well as the GEARWORKS playmat. So in this game, there's 3 rounds, and in each round, players are going to be playing cards until everyone's passed, pretty much.
Right.
And so on your turn, you play a card, but you can also possibly gain sparks, spend sparks, or use your Tinkerer ability.
Mm-hmm. So you can gain sparks by tinkering, and what the tinker is, it's when you place a card, what you can do is you can look in all 4 directions, up, down, left, and right. And if there are cards in those areas, the first card that you come to in either direction, you can either add or subtract 2 of those cards to get the either sum or difference of the card that you're playing. Kind of a weird explanation of it, but basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to place a card so that the value of that card is either a sum or difference of 2 of the 4 different directions.
So you can get 1 spark.
To get 1 spark.
So there's a lot of simple math in this game.
Yeah.
And you can also get sparks by discarding cards. And then sparks are useful because they can be pointed in the game, but also they can help you do things during the game. You can get more, it lets you draw more gear cards, which are very important. Mm-hmm. And you can also draw more contraption cards, which are those blueprints. And then you can also potentially enter back into the game if you passed and replace a gear card. So where you put one of your cards on top of another. So those sparks can be very handy. And then the Tinkerer ability, everyone has their own card that you can use once per round. I think it might depend on which ability it is, but gives you a special ability that you can use as well. For instance, I think one of them I had one time lets you ignore the color restriction in a row one time. I think it is, and there's other stuff like that as well.
Yeah, essentially each of those abilities gives you the opportunity to kind of ignore one of the main rules, kind of,
yeah.
to give you somewhat of an advantage. But everybody has one of those different abilities.
Yeah, so basically you're trying to control rows and columns to collect parts in order to complete your little blueprints or your contraption cards to get points at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And so this game, what do you think? I think it's an okay game. What do you think?
I would agree. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. I probably wouldn't go back to it over and over again.
Yeah, it's like the in between. Mm-hmm. Not terrible, not amazing. It's in between. It's puzzling, and if you like the Sudoku type of thing, this has elements of that. So you're doing rows and columns, and the rows have to be ascending or descending order and color restrictions. It's very puzzling. You're doing the simple math to get that, to do the Tinkerer to get sparks. So if you like puzzling, you like Sudoku, then this might be one that you might want to try.
Which I do like those things. However, I get bored with Sudoku pretty quickly. So, and I feel like this kind of, I don't want to say it makes me feel bored, but it certainly, like, it lives its life, and then you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah. This also, I feel like, could be a good, family game to help kids, do a bunch of simple math. It's not for little kids, obviously, but, for your kids to do simple math. Mm-hmm. Because you're doing a lot of that if you wanted to get sparks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which could also be a downfall of this game. We found that there could be a lot of analysis paralysis, because if you're thinking about all your different gear cards you have and you're doing simple math in all these different locations for all the different gear cards you have, it can turn into long turns.
It can slow things down for sure, and I definitely caught myself being
yes,
a little bit that way.
I struggled.
Yeah.
I struggled. I was like thinking too long.
Trying to figure out what's just the right move, because there's multiple moves probably that you can make each turn, but it's like, what's the best move?
Yeah.
And doing the math, doing this, place this here, what's that scenario going to bring?
You might have to have like a buzzer or a
Yes.
timer, like a chess timer.
Get a chess clock and then just like everybody
Yeah.
else.
Now I will say, the production of this game was really good.
I agree, especially with
the playmat. I would probably go crazy if I any kind of grid system thingy. Like I had to have structure. And
it gives you the template on where to put
yes.
everything, and it just makes everything so much neater than having to figure out how to place it on your own.
Yeah, it would drive me nuts out because I would want things to be squared up, and without the mat, I would probably go a little crazy. Yeah. But the production with this combo, I think, is very good.
Agreed.
Yep. So that is GEARWORKS, a small, puzzly, Sudoku-like game. Expeditions is a competitive, card-driven, engine-building game of exploration. Play cards to gain power, guile, and unique worker abilities. Move your mech to mysterious locations. Use workers, items, meteorites, and quests to enhance your mech, and use power and guile to vanquish corruption from the land. Collect glory and riches to complete the most lucrative expedition in this sequel to Scythe. So in this game, players are going to be taking turns back and forth, and on your turn, you're going to be either taking actions or refresh. So when you take actions, you're going to be taking all the exposed actions. So whichever spot the action cube is not covering, then you will take those actions. So 2 out of the 3. But when you refresh, you're going to be kind of just getting all your cards back into your hand, your workers back, resetting the action cube. So the next time after you refresh, then you'll actually take all 3 of those actions. And then you'll go back to the normal actions. So what are the actions?
What are the actions? The actions are move, play, and gather.
Move, play, gather.
Move, play, gather.
Yeah, whenever we played this game, we actually like did these little chants on our turns. We would go move and gather, move, and gather. We kept doing that. I don't know why.
About that.
Yeah, we all did it. It was yes. Anyway, so for moving, you're gonna be moving your mech out on the board or tiles, not board. And you can move typically 1 to 3 spots, unless you have the mech that gives you a special ability that lets you move 1 to 4, which is nice. So you're going to be going, you start the game with some tiles unrevealed, some revealed, and you can go on those spots, but then you can also move into the unknown territory, the mysterious lands of Scythe. Is that the world? I guess it's the world? I don't know. Anyway, so you're moving into mysterious lands, and you flip over tiles, you get the map tokens when you do, and yeah, just moving around. And then the other action is what? Play. So you can play a card from your hand. So your hand is actually going to be on the left side of your board. So you're going to play it onto the right side of your play area. And when you do, you get the core value, so power or guile. Power or guile. And there's usually some spot on the bottom that has another ability where if you have the corresponding worker, you can place your worker on the card and trigger that ability. So there's several different colored workers in this game that you can try to collect with your mech by the action of gather. So wherever your mech is, you get to gather whatever's on that tile via the ability. So sometimes it might be, for instance, different workers, or getting a face-up card,
or power, or guile.
There's all kinds of things. Or the actions that let you upgrade items, even boast, which lets you put out your glory tokens,
or be able to draw cards that are out in the play area.
Right.
All of that.
And using that boast action lets you put out glory tokens if you've met an achievement. So some of the different achievements are having 8 cards in your play area. Let's
or
see.
7 corruption tiles, having collected 7 corruption tiles.
Or I think like the 3 different main categories of cards, like 4 items, 4 quests, 4 meteorites. There's several different things that you can do.
One of my favorites is going and getting the
20
point corruption tile.
Yes.
Just have to get the one 20-point corruption tile. That's also one of the conditions where you can place a glory token.
Yeah, so once a player has placed their 4th glory token, that's going to trigger at the end of the game, and you're going to, at that point, total up all your coins, and then you'll also get points from your tucked items on the sides. You can also get points from your glory tokens depending on how many quests you have fulfilled, because there's a table, and I think when you get 4 quests, it's 10, I think it is.
Yeah, it's like 10 times the number of
10
glory
times,
tokens that you
yeah.
have
So
out.
like if you have done 4 glory tokens, I mean that could be straight up 40 points right there. And it's actually 3 or more solved quests will give you the 10. Because you will still get coins for your glory tokens even if you've done 0 quests. So there's an incentive to do quests because you'll get more points. Mm-hmm. So you're going to tally up all your points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, what did you think? Because
Scythe is, well, it's high up on her list. It is way down on the bottom of my list of favorite games. And I saw this and I was like, oh boy, we're doing Scythe again. And I was like, why are you making me play this? And it's not Scythe.
No, it's not. It's in the world of Scythe.
Which is kind of cool. But I really did enjoy this game. I liked the exploration aspect.
Yes.
I liked, kind of managing things. And, it was not so much that I couldn't fit it all in my brain. Because sometimes I get a little bit overloaded by a lot going on. Now, speaking of a lot going on, there's a lot on the table.
Yes, so you definitely need to have a wide enough table because it goes, I mean, we have like a normal size table and it kind of stretches all the way across the way it's laid out, so it can definitely take up a fair amount of space. Yeah. I don't mind that, of course. I like big productions, but in this production, I think it's very good. I like it. I like everything about it. I definitely love those mechs.
I'm not a big miniature person, but they're pretty cool.
Moving those mechs out around the board
chunky.
And stuff,
they're
they're
chunky,
cool.
And they are pretty neat, and you're using them a lot. It's not like they just sit out there. You're moving them. If you use the move action every turn, you're moving them every turn. So
yeah, so this is definitely a good production. And like you said, we both really love that sense of exploration in games. And I just really enjoy that. I like moving and trying to find certain tiles. That is a cat that just sprinted by.
Spazzing out.
Trying to find different tiles that have the actions you're looking for, and you never know what you're flipping over. I just find that exciting. I love that in games. And I also really like the use of the workers. I like how you can collect workers, and then whenever you play a card, you can also put out a worker and through its ability. I just thought the whole thing worked together well. Yeah. One thing I didn't like was I found it very hard for me to tuck all the cards, even with the little sticker things on the bottom of the board to kind of rise it a little bit. I just have a hard time not having things all perfectly lined up. That's just an OCD thing. So there's a lot of tucking going on, so things get shifted around and stuff. But I like the mechanics of it. I like, that tucking the items gives you points in the game. The meteorites are cool because you can kind of score each meteorite card you have again whenever you tuck another one.
Yeah. But it's interesting that I was just kind of thinking about some of the games we did play with this, and it's like if I'm visualizing the table, you can tell where Jody played and you can tell where I played, because if you look at Jody's play area, there's like 15 cards that she's like working with at a time. And remember, I can't fit all this stuff in my brains, but there is the ability to like get cards and then not scrap them, but end up like solving quests, and I end up kind of
you
tucking
tuck
those
them.
away pretty quickly rather than continuing to use them for a long period of time. So at the end of the game, it's like I've got my quest tucked and Jody's and
I've got a lot
maybe
tucked.
5 other cards, and Jody's got
I just
a bunch of
accumulate-
stuff tucked and
yes.
like 20 other things.
I accumulate more cards than
So
you
there's
do.
the point is there's a lot of different ways you can win, because I actually did win that way. One of the games that we did play, I actually ended up winning by having very few cards.
You
but
did a lot of corruption.
But I was very focused
tokens.
on some specific things, and my ability that I had allowed me to do the vanquish and gain corruption a lot faster.
Yeah, you like just vanquished everything.
And essentially I ended the game really quickly because of that. So yeah, it was. But yeah, but there's a lot of different ways that you can actually win this, and I don't know. I found it very fun, not overwhelming once you understand what's going on.
Which is great news, because I like this as well. I love the world of Scythe, and Justin likes this game too, so that's really exciting. And there you have it. So that is our thoughts on these 3 games. Now, go ahead and rank them. 1, 2, 3. Like your favorite, second, third.
1, 2, 3. I think we're gonna keep it in this order right here. 1 for Lunar Rush, 2 for Expeditions, and 3 for GEARWORKS. That's my ranking.
I'm torn between these 2 as for first place, because I really liked both of them. I think I'm gonna pull out right now how I'm feeling right now. I think I'm gonna pull out 1, 2, 3 for my ranking, but that could very well switch. But right now, that's what my gut's telling me.
I gotta say, this isn't a far behind 2 from this one. I had a brief moment of trying to figure out which one I really thought was first, but I think in the end, for me, it's that one.
Yeah, it's pretty close there. So go ahead and tell us which one you liked the most, or you can rank them yourselves. Tell us what would be 1, 2, and 3 for you out of these games. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.